The Bandera Azul project is in charge of trying to make people conscious about the ways in which they manage their house consumption and what they can do to improve and try to save as much money in water, electricity, and fuel as possible, for example. This way, we can reduce our ecological footprint, so we can help the planet acquire a good resource balance. That's why this project is so important for the planet in general, because it makes us think in which starting in several ways, starting in our house. We can try to lower the money we pay every week or month by applying methods that are used to help us save electricity, water, and even saving fuel, and maybe not just get so much trash out. And if this works out well, we can be making a great contribution to our planet in several ways. Um, the Bandera Azul project in this case will be working with several areas. First of all, we will try to explain the initial state of each person's home.
The house of the family in Carlos project started as a small family of four members who had a pretty normal waste in electricity, but not in fossil fuels. This category had an above average waste. In water waste, they were having really low numbers, while in solid wastes, they had really low amounts than the average. At the start, they did have some biodegradable products and some electrodomestics that were eco-friendly, but nothing special. Eagle's house was used to pay a normal amount of money for fossil fuels and water, but talking about electricity, the bills go high since most of the time they leave lots of devices connected and lights at Diego's house are always on. Waste management is another problem because in total they get rid of 10 to 13 kilograms of wastes each month. Xavier's house had high electricity bills because of leaving electrodomestics connected to the electric current and because of using the washing machine instead of washing by hand on a lot of occasions. The water bill has been normal since the start of the project. The fuel bills were high because his dad works and has to travel in his car a lot. They get rid of 8 to 10 kilograms of solid wastes each month. The electricity bill for Saul's house was normal because during the day they try to use the least amount of light they can. The water bill was normal because they always wash clothes by hand. The fuel bill was normal because of the pandemic, they hardly left the house. During the day, try to use sunlight instead of the electric illumination of the house if possible. Try not to leave any type of charger connected to the current when they aren't charging anything. Only use the washing machine when it is fully loaded. Collect the water that the shower sprays while we wait for it to heat up and use it for domestic purposes. Collect organic waste and get some dry soil to bury the organic waste in that dry soil to transform it into dark soil through discomposition of the organic waste under the soil. This dark soil has some awesome uses that work for gardening. Try to reuse all the plastic containers, which can have a use for something else, like storing detergent, water, and other liquids. Try to carpool more oftenly for going to different places like work, school, or even for going to the beach. If the person wants to do some physical activity, they can use running and cycling to do it and mark the route so they end it at their work site. It works as a method of transportation, going to work, toward running or cycling so you get to transport yourself to work and doing physical activity at the same time. We don't use as much biodegradable products as we should, so one proposal could be to buy more biodegradable products if possible. If we are going to buy a product like soda in a restaurant, try to buy it in a glass container so that bottle can be reused by the company. In Carlos' house, there was a positive charge in several areas. being the principal ones water and fossil fuel consumption, which drastically decreased in their amounts, as well as in electric consumption. His family also experienced a more responsible consumption, yet the solid wastes increased a bit. Diego achieved a little decrease in the water bill thanks to the appliance of the water proposals in his house, and fossil fuels also went down a little since they are going out less. They just go out if it's completely necessary, but the electricity bill stayed almost the same since almost none of the family members applied the methods to make a change. Just Diego sometimes, but it wasn't enough. And also waste management stayed between the average already mentioned before, that is between 10 to 13 kilograms. Xavier's family has reduced the use of electricity in the whole house. Every time someone gets out of a room, he or she has to turn the lights off. No electric things are left connected to the current. The water bill stays the same. The fuel bills are not that high. In Saul's house, there were changes in a positive way, in which the low consumption of light and fossil fuels was remarkable, and there was also a little decrease in the water consumption. Well, to conclude, it's important to mention that on most of the team members' house, there was at least one positive change in some of the areas. But the house that achieved a major change and was able to convince his family more of collaborating with this situation was definitely Carlos' house, since they decreased the amount of water consumption a 50% of the usual amount, just as the electricity and fossil fuels consumption, that also went down a lot. As a group, we have a common goal to try to accomplish the same things that Carlos did, and even more, with the goal of reducing our own ecological footprint each time more. Thanks.